did I write my first song? It was in 9/8. The song was in 9/8. I remember that. That was the bass line. Something like that. That kind of thing. I don't remember what I called it. It was C minor. But the first song I learned was A Child is Born, written by Thad Jones and performed famously by Roland Hanna on the Thad Jones Mel Lewis album Consummation. And I learned that from a student of Roland Hanna's, so I learned it verbatim off the way that Roland did it on the album. You know, same thing, voice the same way and all that. And that's part of my story. I'll tell you why in a minute. So I knew that song, I knew the song I wrote, and maybe one other kind of like crazy standard. And I went to summer camp at the New England Music Camp in Oakland, Maine, Sydney, Maine, where I basically grew up. And my father started bragging to the band director there, jazz band director, that my son plays jazz piano. And I was like, no, don't tell him that. And he was like, no, he's good. And he says, well, there's a song that we don't want to take it away from the clarinetist playing all the songs now for this next concert, but he can't do this one song that opens with a piano solo, and maybe your son could come save us with that. And I was like, no, I can't save you. I'm not, you know, and I was basically just a cellist at that point, and a vocalist and a singer. I sang with the boys choir in New York City, and so I went to the rehearsal, and what was the song but A Child is Born? And I sat on the piano, and so I pretended I was reading it, and of course I knew the Roland Hanna way to play the song, and I played it, and it was instant, you know, pure acceptance, and I was just like, wow, you know, and everyone cheered. So I was like, that was very motivational for me to keep going. Everybody influences me, going back to Bach and, you know, Beethoven and Chopin and Scriabin and Bartók and Duke Ellington and, you know, just everybody. I'm going to say Herbie Hancock. The guy, the trombone player that used to write for Duke, what was his name? Duke took credit for a lot of his songs. I can't think of his name right now. Remember his name? Elliott? I'm trying to think.
I don't think it was Elliott.
No, it wasn't Elliott, but he's another great composer, Elliott Belt. And I'm looking forward to playing with him this evening. From the Philadelphia Real Book, as I recall, I think I put in the Mike Frank Theory Blues, which I wrote for Mike Frank's theory class at Temple University. And the other one is, let's see, that's in the, one for Sir Price. We may or may not play that one. I don't know. I don't think we're going to play that one tonight. But that one is one, Mike Frank Theory Blues. Enjoy, you know, and learn how to enjoy the process of learning music. And, you know, look at everyone's compositions, but if you look at mine, enjoy the challenge. I kind of wrote them to be a challenge to myself, and and enjoy the challenges and enjoy the process of figuring out how you want to express yourself in that framework. I chose them because they're very great musicians, and I like their energy, and there's a nice energy socially, spiritually, and musically, and that's all very important to me. The names of the musicians are Elliott Bild on trumpet. We have Guston Rudolph on drums, and Richard Hill on the bass. I would say the hard groove, coming up with people like Mickey Roker and Bobby Durham, and I'm going to start to not remember names, but you know, Jimmy Griffin, the drummers, Butch Ballard, just hard driving drummers that, you know, Leon Jordan, you know, Byron Landon, Justin Faulkner. They're all hard driving. They have that drive, and I'm leaving people out, and it's not fair. But you know, I would say it comes from that rhythm section, that drummer. There's a certain drive in Philadelphia that you're not going to find in New York. Not that it's bad, but there's that. If that drive is not, if the band's not being driven that way in Philly, most people will walk out